Hi, in this video, I want to give you an example of how we can access a public API using jQuery Ajax methods. We are going to be using the $.ajax method because it can be used for both get and post. We are not going to post anything. We are going to only get data from a public API. You can get it from any public domain. API to API, there are differences. So you have to understand what the API is about. I chose this particular API that you're looking at. It's called Open Brewery DB. So this is a simplest form of API that's available for us to use. So this database, this is an API, which means we are able to access the data or services that are provided by this API through the backend. Okay. We don't have to do anything. We are just able to tap into the existing functionality. So you can see here this Open Brewery DB is a free public API on breweries, cideries, brew pubs, and bottle shops. That's what it says. So basically, so if you say list breweries, you will get like a list of all the breweries that are there. Then you could filter it by city. So this is the URL of the API call. You can copy this URL and then paste it here and get the same result on the screen. Okay. So because I said San Diego, it's filtering out every brewery that's in San Diego. If I change this to Cleveland, it would give me all the breweries in Cleveland. So I want you to think about the URL and the format of it. So till this part is it probably refers to a resource that is maintained by the API. Anything after the question mark is called as the query string. So the query string is of the format key equal to value. Okay, here the key is by city and the value is Cleveland. So the very first query string starts with a question mark. After that, if you have other query strings, it will go with an ampersand, key equal to value, that format. Okay. In this particular situation, the filtering is at the city level. So we only have one query string. Okay. So if you were to use it inside your code, what you would do is you would have the Ajax make a call to the API by building this URL first. And then whatever result is obtained, you would actually render it on the page itself. You would append it to a div or add it to a pick list or whatever it is that the requirement is. That's what we would be doing. Okay. So this is the particular API that I'm going to be showing you. I'm going to show you how to do a couple of these, and then I'm going to let you do for homework. So let's get started. I have code here. Let me pull this in the browser. So here is already a formatted page ready for you. So when I click on list all breweries, I want to get all the breweries in here under the results. Then when I say list all breweries by city, I want to say San Diego here and then click and then get all the results here. So I may say, find me all the breweries that has tail in its name, click here, and I want to get all the breweries that have that. Or I may use the brewery ID like that and then click to get the results. Okay. So these are the four functionality. The first two I'm going to be doing, and then you can work on the other two for practice. So first we have to go to the API page so we understand what it is. So how do we get a list of breweries? So it says this is the URL we have to use. So we have to call out to this particular URL and then we have to parse the results. Okay, so those are the two portions. So if you see my HTML, I have a list all breweries label and then I have a button. So I have to have an on-click event for this particular button 1. And I have it here, button 1.on. So it has to be inside the dollar function. Otherwise, the dollar signs won't be recognized, right? You want to be sure that all of your code, especially this one, because you're adding an event listener, it has to be inside. Okay, here I have the URL. This is the URL I want. There is no query string. Okay, no query string for this particular request. I directly go put this URL in my browser, and that would give me all the breweries in United States, I believe. Okay, so there is no query string. See, there is nothing like question mark here. So it's a simple example. So I have to be using this URL to make a call to Ajax. So let's look at how our method is for Ajax. So Ajax method takes a lot of parameters. Okay, the most important one is going to be, first you have to say $.ajax. Then we have to give the URL. That's another important parameter. Then you have to say if it is a get or a post request. Then there is a success method and a complete method. Okay, success method will be the one we'll be using to parse the result. A complete method you can use if you want to. That will just tell you what at the end of the method what we want to do. Okay, so these are like some of the basic things we need. So this is going to be $.ajax. So remember, it's not $Ajax, it is $.ajax. So all these are going to be inside the curly braces. $.ajax. So you want to say URL. So you can give the URL here, like type the URL here like this if you want, or you could save this in a variable called URL. And then just assign it here. So it is keyword colon value. That's how we want to send it. Then we said type get. Okay, then we have success. Success is going to be a function. This is the value of the returned variable. So three basic elements that we need. So this is where the Ajax method gets completed. So we have to put a semicolon. So I know the downside of the jQuery is all these curly braces and round parenthesis and all that. It is confusing, but once you get the hang of it, it won't be that bad. So always you can like click here to see if you have the ending ones. See these guys. As long as you have that, you're okay. Okay, so let's just run this and see what happens. Here is my method. So I like to always open my developer toolbar. Step number 1. Step number 2 is refresh the page. Then let's put a breakpoint. Okay, let's click on this list all breweries. So the first button click, so it's coming into this method. It's creating the URL for me. Let's run this. So it called the function. So I got an data. The data is an array with 20 characters in it. Okay, when I say console.log, it's going to just write the 20 characters, dump it all out like that. So if you expand and examine the data, you can see what format. The first is the index. Then you have your whole object, whatever it is. Then you can say whatever it is, the collection is, you can get the ID, name, whatever. Okay. So you have to understand that you have to look at the structure before you decide how to write code. So we know that we are getting an array. So if you want to parse an array, the array is contained inside data. So you have to say $.each for each item inside this array. What do you want to do? So we create a function that can process the data from this array. Okay. So this is how you parse items inside data array. So here what we do is the first parameter is the index. The results go there. The second parameter is going to the individual item. Okay. So for each, so all of the items will be copied to item here. So we would just say console.log item.name. Let's test this. See if this works. Click here. So let's hover over item. See, I has the 0, 1, 2, whatever. So if you look at data, okay. So item has the individual name and all those things related to one brewery. Okay. So this is an array. This is an item inside an array. Okay. We are getting item.name. I'm going to take the breakpoint out so it can just write them all out. Look at the console. So it has written all the 20 items in the console. Okay. So what we want to do is instead of writing it to console, we want to write it to the page. So I want each console item to be a paragraph. Okay. For paragraph equal to, this is how we create a new entry in a new element in JavaScript. So I say para.text equal text is going to be, I'm going to put item.name plus item.id plus item.city. So I want to show all these 3 items. Maybe we'll put like a little space in between. Like that. Okay, so we created a paragraph. You have to append the paragraph to, okay, let's see what our results name is. So I want to show the results. So this guy is called results. So I just go in here. So now each and every item will create a paragraph, add all the content from the array, each and every element. These 3 are the ones I want to write to. You can write anything you want, but I think they make sense. And then I am appending the paragraph. So that's what I'm doing. Let me clear the breakpoint. There. So we can see all the brewery is getting appended here. So this is the name of the brewery, and then this is the ID, and this is the city it is in. Okay, so that's how we parse. So before you write code, make sure that you look at it. If you have like the first one is like an integer, like a number, then you have to make sure that you're sending the index and then the item, which is how I've done it. So this was the easy one. So the second one, button 2, it has a query string. Okay. So what's going to happen is I want to be able to say Cleveland here. And when I click, it should take this text, add it as a query parameter, and then call that method. Okay. So let me tell you how to do that. So let us go to the HTML. So button 2, the input box that we have is called search by city. So I want to take the value of the search by city and save it as my query string. So this is how you get the value that is inside this particular input box and save it. Second step will be, I want to create a variable to hold this base URL. Cleveland should not be there, right? So only this should be there. So my base URL is not going to have city, but it will have the key value. The key will be there. The value I'll be adding to this. So my actual URL is equal to base URL plus search term, right? So that will make this into this, except this value is going to come from my input box. Okay. So that's my URL. So let's copy the Ajax code. And then delete what we don't need. Anytime you use Ajax, what you have to think about is, do I have to parse multiple lines of data or a single line? That's what you have to think about. Do I get like a lot of data or one data? Is it so when I give a search term, for example, when I say by city, I'm going to get a lot. So I have to parse. There. Same thing, because the data type is the same. So all I am doing is the search criteria is changing. That's all. What other options do we have? By name, by state, by postal. Let me show you two query string also. Okay, let's run this and then I'll show you the two query strings. Okay, now let's run this guy. So I come in here, I say Cleveland and then click. So let's see. Let's put a breakpoint. Let's check it step by step to see where we are missing something. Okay, so click. First, let's see what's in search term. Ooh, yeah, this is the reason why. See, the search term is undefined, which means this is incorrect. What is going on here? I didn't put a pound. Where is it? So I have to put a pound because I'm identifying that particular element by its ID. Now let's refresh the page. Say Cleveland here, click. Okay, now let's see the search term. Cleveland is there. The base URL doesn't have Cleveland in it, so we are appending them. Okay, now how does the URL look? Now the URL has the Cleveland appended to the end. So let's push it further. Let's see. Okay, data, we got data. The data is exactly the same, so the parsing is exactly the same. There you go. All the particular breweries that we have in Cleveland are all right here. Okay, when I click on list, I get every state. When I click on Cleveland, I get only Cleveland. So you have to see here what's going on. So we appended Cleveland to the existing result because we are not clearing this results box. So let's add some logic to clear the results box. So as soon as there is success, I want to go and say results.text is blank. This would clear my results box so the results are not overlapping. Let's try this now. Okay, so list, I got the list. When I click here, let me say Dallas, I don't know. Okay, see, the old data got erased. This is all new data. If I say list, This should get erased. This Humperdinck's, Pegasus, they should all go away. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to do. I am trying to clear everything. I will show you one more example. What does it say here? So the third one is sort by city and sort type. Okay, so let's add a sort functionality. Okay, because that is the second query string. Okay, var sort equal to let's add one more input parameter here. So we will ask which field to sort by, ID or name, and then whatever is given, we will sort by that. Okay. So we get this ID by ID, sort by, and then I'm getting its value. So the URL will be base URL plus search term. And then what I want to do is I want to add ampersand sort equal to type, comma, dash. And then I want to add the sort by. So what it does is if I give name in this field, it will have name here. If I give ID in this field, it will have ID here. Okay, this is the second query string. So first query string has a question mark. After that, every single query string starts by ampersand. It will be like a key value pair. Okay. So let's see, that's what it's saying. Sort type, sort hyphen type. Oh, not equal to sort hyphen type. Oh no, it's equal to, sorry. Sort equal to type. Let's actually try this out. So whether it's ascending or descending goes by the minus or plus sign. Sort equal to type. So type of brewery, sort equal to name. Okay, this one is sorted by name in the descending order. If I give it plus, it will be this in the ascending order, A something by name. Okay, so let's just change our code. So it's sort by, sort equal to, let's just make it ascending all the time. We just will change what field they want. Okay, so now that's my URL, and then I don't have to do anything. This is just a query string number 2. Okay, now let's run this code. So I have to give the city and then sort by. City will be Cleveland, sort by ID. If I say by ID, so you can see let's do by name. We said ascending. Okay. So here we are going to say by city equal to Cleveland, sort by plus name. So let us see when we click the button, what request went out. Okay. If you go to network, you can actually see the request that went out. So Cleveland name. Let's hit it. So let's go to our source, put a breakpoint, and see what happened. Let's look at the URL. So by city is Cleveland and sort equal to plus name. Seems okay. Let's run this and see if this works. This is what we cooked up. Then our URL is right. So that's the first battle, right? Okay, now let's push it to debug. We got the results. Okay, so brick. Okay. So if we say minus name, it's coming the reverse. So the main idea is to just show you. Oh, we didn't say, okay, yeah, we got a plus here. So let's make it minus and test it. Let us say that there is a bug and it's not returning information correctly. There is nothing we can do about it. Whatever the API returns is what it is. If you like put the API, the URL in the browser and that's what it returns, then that is okay. It may not be correct, but that's what the API is doing at the moment. So there is not much we can do to like fix that. So I wouldn't worry about that. What I would worry about is that making sure that when you make a call, whether in the browser or in your code, the results should match. That is the only thing we can worry about. Okay. So I want you guys to actually write code. So if I give a search term here, say brewery or tantrum, and then click, it should find this tantrum brewing and all other brewing companies that have the term tantrum. Okay. The get by ID is the one where if I give 5646 Cleveland, the 5646 as the ID, when I click on this, I should get that correct brewery back. So all the time I want these three fields. So the name, the ID, and also the city. Okay. So remember, this guy is tricky. It's easier because all you would do is you won't have to do the $.each. You don't have to loop through for this one because you will only get one particular brewery. You won't get a lot. So if you're only getting one, you don't need any of this. You would just say data dot and then name data dot ID data dot city. Okay. Only if it is an array, you need to do this. Otherwise, this part you can eliminate. The code will be in GitHub and I hope this was useful.